Sonic is my favorite video game character, but I have to admit that not all of his games are great. But let's not talk about bad games today. Today, let's talk about my top 10 Sonic games. Sonic Unleashed went over the top in multiple ways. Levels would change perspectives, you'd get a score and combo counters after hitting several enemies, but most of all, Sonic Unleashed introduced the Werehog, an abominable transformation that occurs at night that changes the game completely. Movement becomes slower while exploration gets replaced with beating up enemies. We players can even control the Werehog's arms using motion controls. Unleashed makes the list more for its experimental nature than because it's a perfect platformer, but in my eyes, it holds up well despite the game. As the title suggests, Sonic Heroes is a game built around teamwork. And the game demands that players switch between characters on the fly to make the best use of their abilities. Switching isn't as seamless as you might hope, but it adds a puzzle twist to the overall experience that sets it apart from the rest of the franchise. Confusing camera controls and questionable voice acting still play the experience, but the focus on groups make for a welcoming change nonetheless, and was probably a big inspiration for an artist. Sonic didn't have an easy time transitioning into 3D. Maybe it was because the high velocity speed of his 2D platforming couldn't be translated into the third dimension. Maybe the physics of Sonic were only ever intended to be experienced left to right, or maybe fleshing out a storyline for the Hedgehog and his gang of fuzzy friends was just impossible from the start. Whatever the case, with its three-sided storyline, Moody Shadow the Hedgehog missions, and a weird San Francisco-esque setting, Adventure 2 is always fun to play, even if it is so painfully early 2000s that you might want to dig out your old Shrek DVDs. And also City Escape. Sonic and Sega AllStars Racing Transform was a solid entry into the Stop Cards character and power-ups genre with some quality whips like Mimi's Buggy and Sonic Hedgehog Eared Ride and memorable maps. Plus, the character list was hard to beat. There was Sonic, of course, and Danica Patrick? Hell yeah! Sonic Generations does the unthinkable and mixes classic and modern Sonic experiences together in the same game. The first half presents 2.5D levels revisiting classic zones, focusing on abilities such as the classic spin dash and staying as close to the good old pace as possible. Meanwhile, the other half is all about the 3D behind the character perspective, moving Sonic through a crumbling city and bumping Sonic against flying enemies made of lava. Generations highlights how much the series has changed for the better or for worse, but it's worth revisiting for the first few levels if you want to relive old memories in a new engine. Back in the 90s, Sonic & Knuckles was a really novel idea. The cartridge, which featured lock-on technology, allowed players to alter other Sonic games by inserting them into the hatch on this strange multi-use piece of hardware. You could insert Sonic 2 into the Knuckles cartridge, which would allow you to play as Knuckles the Echidna, the red dude who was basically Sonic's more buff older brother in the beloved sequel game. Other things would happen if you inserted Sonic 1 or Sonic 3 into the cartridge, making Sonic and Knuckles one of the industry's first experiments with post-release content. It didn't quite catch on, but today DLC is a central part of the medium. You have to give some credit to Sega for experimenting on this one. People don't tend to remember much of their childhood years, but one moment that is bound to never leave someone's mind is their first trip through Green Hill Zone. The debut of the series introduced a new way to experience platformers, trading careful jumps for high-speed traversal, There were secrets scattered around the boss fights at the end of each level, but the game felt like a foundation for something entirely new in the genre. It marked the beginning of a race against Nintendo, competing as the mascot living in another house on the same block. No one dared to question Sonic's origins or why Sonic's fur was blue. It just made sense in the 90s. Remember when Sonic discovered time travel? Sonic CD plays similarly to the game that came before it, but areas can be altered by going to the past and changing the future. If done correctly, this causes enemies to disappear from levels and everything gets displayed in brighter colors. There are also good and bad endings depending on whether or not you collect all the time stones. Probably a bit over the top for the time, but impressive nonetheless. I'm also pretty sure that all this time traveling was the main cause for the spin-off that didn't make the cut for this list, leading Sonic to a timeline where Shadow the Hedgehog would fire weapons, among other examples. With fumbles like Sonic Boom, fans for years were asking for Sonic to return to his classic roots, and Sega finally came to its senses, licensing the Blue Blur out for headcanon. Folks well known for their works on Sonic ports, Sonic Mania is a celebration of the retro Sonic. It featured new worlds and twists on old worlds and a ton of playable characters along with deep cuts like Mighty the Armadillo and Ray the Flying Squirrel. The game was a throwback true and true, but with the added features, it hit the sweet spot between nostalgia, new gameplay, and polish. Sonic Mania is one of the best titles in the Sonic catalog and easily the best in the last decade. Before we go to my number 1 pick, here are some honorable mentions: Sonic Spinball, Sonic Rush series, Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games, Sonic Advance series, and Sonic Battle. While there aren't many substantial changes, the ones in there holds up for the long run. Sonic is faster and can spin dash, charging up like a car's wheel to boost against an enemy or reveal a hidden secret behind a fragile wall. The 3D running sequences also provided a glimpse of what was to come in the following years, and Tails quickly became the second emblem of the series. Sonic 2 was a faithful follow-up and one that established a new standard for the formula, and it's my favorite game of all time, so yeah. So yeah guys, that's it. If you guys like the video, leave a like, let me know what you think of the video, and as always, I hope you enjoy.